Everything you own is becoming less expensive, but the cost of everything you need to buy is increasing. We refer to this as financial suppression, and since nobody can see what's going on, this will continue for a while. And that is kind of like you keep acting in the same way if you don't know something is wrong with you until it becomes much worse. So that's what's happening right now. The bank rate indicates that the mortgage rate is 6.5%. They won't be purchasing any new furnishings, they won't produce real estate commissions, and they won't consume the cost of another house that is for sale. If the Dallas men are correct, that means they frequently aren't correct, but it does indicate that real estate got out of hand. Therefore, you now have to add a substantial lunch and digest it. And it can be difficult for those who have to relocate and the individuals who are buying these properties. And in reality, they are agreeing to become landlords, earning scarcely more than what treasury bills are already paying. Right, that is illogical. Landlording is challenging. In order to offer shelter for individuals, you must be paid. If you choose not to do that, you are speculating and betting that the price will increase. And to address your issue, it is too much, too quickly when you see prices rise in that matter. The same things are now occurring in stocks. The stock market still needs to adjust. If you look closely, the crash is occurring in slow motion. It crashes in slow motion. Bezos, Musk, Zuckerberg, and other prominent names in technology all sold significant quantities of shares at the end of the previous year. And this year, all of those stocks have drastically declined. And they will continue to decline because you use financial engineering for 20 years rather than because they are bad enterprises. The result of financial engineering is that those at the top have free money, which they use to gamble on stocks. And what they do is take a 20-year wager and place it today, because the money was practically free. Thus, we are now in a process. If you already own a company that you really enjoy, you can continue to purchase it at lower prices. That's great. However, nothing is rising. The fact that home prices have moderated a bit and you can always refinance in a few years makes this a smart time to buy. But mortgage interest rates have decreased little. It won't actually damage you in the long run because you can refinance. People should view their homes as consumption items rather than as investments. You understand how your environment affects your mood, correct? As a result, you shouldn't wait around for the ideal home price while investing in stocks, because it's likely that the stocks may decline at the same time. Finding a home that suits you is the key to making the most of your life and getting the house to go down smoothly. You try to bargain for a reasonable price before purchasing the property. People then comment that the timing was poor. I bought this because I liked it, you claim. Now, if you own rental property, that's another story entirely, because renting out your movies will only make them worse. It might lift your spirits, in the same manner as your home may. You'll have to time the market for a rental home. I understand being conservative, conserving money, and not being careless. But individuals who are waiting to buy a home should know that everyone still has extremely low unemployment rates, right? 3.5% or 5%. How long have you been doing drugs? You eventually run out of them. Therefore, that is what will take place. It's similar to how individuals stop when they run out of money. You know, you also had Pavlov's dog trained for 20 years to swipe cars and borrow against the house. Yes, borrow money and buy a new car. This conduct has been firmly established in the brain's cognitive loop. No one is pondering the alternative, therefore. That is what we do as individuals. Everyone will rush towards the brink as we become accustomed to these notions and become devoted to them as truths. Once they've crossed completely, they'll say, there was a cliff there. However, we do have some time to get there right now. 7.5% for a mortgage and 8% for a car loan. 25% of the available credits. You may be aware that someone in the family lost their job. Yes, this does help to speed things up a bit. Before making an investment, you should strive to identify your zone among the nations that produce the world's resources. I'm good. Usually, we are not invited to participate in creating the world's laws. In light of who makes the rules, does this make sense? You know, you search everywhere. At the United Nations and elsewhere. Who decides the laws? The major industrialized superpowers, the nations that make up the EU, the nations in Northern North America, etc. These are the actual nations. We are now observing a change. The difference is that the nations that really generate the raw resources are now stating that they would like a place at the table. Now, everyone remarks that Ghana is a small country when you mention it. GDP-wise, everything matters, because Saudi Arabia also declared that it would stop allowing individuals in New York to fix the oil price on paper. Consider the gold market as an example. Consider what occurs in the gold market. The New York COMEX fixes the price. It does not allow end users to choose the price. It trades significantly more paper than it does gold. The feedback determines it. The oil price is determined by the New York 9X. Now, the biggest oil producer in the world declares that it will no longer let someone in New York with a handful of paper decide the price of oil. Ghana claims that it would no longer accept dollars in exchange for oil. We're going to use something that we support. Now, you have to explain a bigger trend that's forming here rather than simply focusing on Ghana. Additionally, this will put strain on the US system. Usually, they won't take the gold itself. The pricing system is going to be solely based on gold. The dollar price is controlled by something that is very difficult to monitor. Therefore, in essence, They are saying that we trust the gold price more than the dollar price. The problem is that they won't hand over a ton of gold bricks before taking their shipment of oil. An offtake agreement will be used to accomplish this, right? However, they plan to sell anybody in the US will be redistributing money to other nations that have been affected by climate change, pushing money into building credit packages for these businesses and nations. It's incredible. From top to bottom, this carbon chain is being invested in with trillions of dollars. But before I go, allow me to say two things that are connected. The gold price is the only item that hasn't changed, which is surprising given that we produced a ton of money, gave everyone 4 booster shots in the arm, handed them checks, and did all of these other things. And then, as you may be aware, there have been numerous wars around the world, and the price of gold is currently frozen. Owning gold is difficult. To run a real estate firm is not all that difficult in my case. Watch carefully, David, and be careful. Watch the news and keep an eye on Mattel. Now that this company has grown significantly, we need to be aware what we do. Alright, 80 royalties are not far away. This is a large corporation that was found for almost nothing, and your analysis is missing a few critical aspects. They cannot simply purchase the credit and keep emitting. They must demonstrate a path to zero over a longer period of time, because there is effectively a net zero commitment. It's possible that the world enters an ice age if the 1.5 degrees Celsius objective is met, or if a massive volcanic explosion occurs. These things are impossible to know, but the accepted science is that. This is the law, therefore, follow it. It is evolving in this manner, and it would be a little odd if you consider those 3 factors and decided against taking part because you believe that things might change in the future. Will banks lose all your money? Today, we will discuss how to prevent collapse in global economy. It amazes me that people own pancake coins worth $500 million and have yet to sell them. However, you now have 600 exchanges. The majority of these businesses connected to cryptocurrencies will fail. Okay, it follows that cryptocurrency remains relevant. It simply implies that the speculation was so out of control that you engaged in so much leverage, betting, and gambling that the after effects will be severe. Try to construct a record of all of the explosions, bankruptcies, or nothing was there before the lunar coin started. This year, it took place. Make an effort to create a list. It's astonishing because everything that occurs seems to come as a complete surprise, but it's not. Here, things are being readjusted. You'll have pinned coins eventually. A digital dollar payment system is now being tested by the Fed. This month, there has been news on it. We looked through and went back 20 years to when the US government decided to use financial engineering. As a result, you took this route in an effort to develop a steady way of life for people, and you were destroying the foundation of civilization by your actions. In 2008, less than 10% of individuals were employed in manufacturing. At one time, there were more real estate agents than farmers. There are now a great deal more. Right now, we make nothing. For everything, we borrow funds. So it is evident that borrowed funds are supporting the entire system. People are gradually spending a larger and larger proportion of their income trying to maintain the declining worth of all their assets. And once that reaches the point where people are flinging rocks rather than just complaining about one another, you intervene with the next wave of stimulation, which includes everyone embracing Bitcoin. Similar to the checks issued during the COVID scenario, that predicted point would be made by you. Download the digital wallet, deposit your first Bitcoins there, and so forth. My point is that this system may fall apart so quickly. Folks who bet on the fall of the system and I are extremely close friends. You have a lot of money, since it can take a while, I tell them. People should exercise caution while placing bets, since you never know when anything might occur. In terms of probabilities, the Lehman-style catastrophe is therefore incredibly unlikely. The entire nation is insolvent, therefore it's more crucial to play in accordance with what you observe happening rather than placing a wager on something like this collapsing in. People tend to overlook the fact that all asset prices are declining, including those for real estate and cryptocurrencies. Stocks are declining. Flat is gold. You would pay attention to people. They portray it as declining, although it is actually doing okay. When you stop thinking about it, thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for more, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.